question 6.9 on chapter 6 skill check. So question 6.9 wants us to write a program that gets 3 integers from the user. The first two, start and end, represent the inclusive range to be checked. The third integer, factor, is used to see if there are any numbers in the range that are divisible by it, which means that you have a remainder of 0 when divided by a factor. Your program should also ensure that all integers are greater than 0 and the value entered for end is greater than entered for start. Alright, so first, we need to import the two packages we have here. As you can see, we have javx.swing and java.util. After that, we need to create a public class. I named it chapter 6. See the standard public static void main. After that, we need to declare our variables. So we need 3 user inputs. Therefore, let me just correct this. We need 3 user inputs. So let's declare 3 strings. While the first string being first num, which represents starts, and second string means second num, which represent end, and third string is factor, which represent factor. Also, since we're dealing with number, we also want integers variables, which is going to be named num1, num2, and num3. Okay, so let's have the num1 set up. We want the user to enter the first number. You can see first num equals joption_pane.show input dialog, which will display a window for the user to input a number, and then it will transform this number into an integer file and store into a integer memory location. After that, we are gonna ensure that num1 is positive. So we're gonna run a sort of code block here. So if num1 is greater than 0, the system will print out acceptable value. If num1 is smaller than 0, system will print out not a valid value. Try again. And then you will reset the seed, reset the string first. So you reset the string, ask the user to enter another number again, and then you will transform this number into an integer. And if the user and if num1 is now greater than 0, the system will print out acceptable value. So it's pretty much the same with num2 and num3, except num2 has an extra condition here. It also wants num2 to be greater than num1. So we're gonna add a condition in while loop, which means that if num1 is greater than num2, wait, hold on, let me just correct this. So that will make a logic OR gate. So which means that when num2 is smaller than 0, it will enter this cycle, and when num2 is smaller than num1, it will enter this cycle as well. And as usual, it will print up acceptable value. And I need to correct this. Num2 greater than num1. A system will print out acceptable value. Same for the factor. Now in here since num2 is greater than num1, we're gonna create a while loop and search for every number inside that range and see if they are divisible by factor. Okay. So if if num1 is divisible by num3, which means that if they have a remainder of 0, which is represented by the percentage sign here, the system will print out that number, and then it will add a number to num1. So this will search for every integer in the inclusive range and print it and print the appropriate one in the output screen. Alright, let's try it. Okay, so we first enter -5. See, not a value. So he wants us to enter again. We enter 1. Good, acceptable. And the second number, we enter -10. Doesn't work. And we enter 0. Doesn't work. And if we enter 10, it does work. And enter the factor. If we enter -1, doesn't work. If we enter 3, does work. And now it prints up the multiples of 3 inside of the inclusive range, which is 3, 6, and 9. Perfect.